kind of need to be doing this multiple times a week for multiple hours a week. I'm doing 3 to 4 hours on a Saturday, and that's it. And the only time I stream more is US holidays. So then I think the next multiple stream weekend will be 4th of July. And then we're probably down until Thanksgiving. I'll do Thanksgiving Day and Friday and Saturday, and same again over Christmas, and same again over New Year's. But pretty much I'm a weekly streamer, so it's not something I don't expect to be recommended because of the frequency of streams, and I don't expect to get a lot of people watching. However, a difference you would find between me and possibly many of the other farm sim streamers is a lot of the ones I watch either are farmers in real life, have been farmers when they were teenagers working for their dad, or have some sort of agricultural interest. When it comes to plants, I suck. The only plants I've had any success with are in the fish tank. But I am a computer programmer, so I know how computer programs work. Part of my job is testing the limitations of computer programs, so I tend to find out how things work in the game, not necessarily how things work in real life, but how the game does things and what the best way to do things is to get the most out of it. I do watch a fair number of real-world farmers for hints about how these sorts of things are done realistically. And I'll Google stuff. If I'm starting a new map, I'll Google where in the world it is and agriculture for the area. So I'll know that maybe this is an Irish map. So possibly potatoes would be a thing that we would consider farming here because potatoes is an Irish crop. But I'll look at the percentages of other stuff as well. So it might be, well, there's a lot of wheat, there's a lot of canola, there's not so much in the way of oats and barley, for example. So, okay, we'll tailor the product we're producing towards canola and wheat or something like that. When I was playing on Lawfold, surprisingly, the biggest grain crop was barley. Because you use barley to make alcohol, and Scots are well known for certain alcohols. So a lot of our farm was barley farming. We did other stuff as well, but barley farming was a thing. Corn farming was not a thing because corn is not planted in Scotland. Except right at the end of the series that I did, I read a news article that said 2 farms were trialling a special breed of corn specifically for growth in colder, shorter, shorter growing period areas of the world. So you could grow corn where normally you wouldn't grow corn, but the corn itself was specifically designed as an animal feed, not as a people feed. And having read that, I decided my farm was going to participate in this trial. And we grew the corn, and we foraged the corn, and we turned it into silage, and we fed it to our cows. Because that's what they were doing with corn in Scotland, but only on a very, very, very limited basis. So I try to be I try to be semi-realistic in the crops that we grow for the area the map is based on, and also for animals and anything else that's going on. So because this is Ireland, you will not see any cotton farming, you will not see any sugarcane farming, and I don't have the equipment or the money to buy the equipment to do any potato farming at this time. So you won't see me planting potatoes right now. So Deutz is still running, 10% used. Now, why am I putting these bales in the silage clamp? Actually, there's a good reason for that. There are specific government regulations about where you make and store silage. You can't store silage near a river because you don't want the effluent getting into the river, which could affect animals and the rest of the stuff. So that's a thing. You need good isolated drainage. Well, surprisingly, a silage clamp has good isolated drainage because you create silage there. So that's why we put all our silage bales right here. I probably can't let that back in there because there's a ridge. Yeah. Just get that folded, and you know what? I've got a hitch on the back of this thing. Might work. Okay, so the hitch on the back of the skid steer doesn't work. Oh, out of the way, dear. So I need to haul this back into the clamp. Now, obviously, if I could, it would be really nice if I could extend the base of this clamp out a little further so that there wasn't that lip at the entrance to it. Unfortunately, that's going to be costly. That's not a thing. So I need to keep the Massey Ferguson on hand. That needs some diesel. Actually, I need to get this. Whoa, where am I going? This out first. And turn that off. Okay, back in the Massey Ferguson. So I also, another commonality with me is I will use sort of more realism stuff. So way back in Farm Sim 17, when Realismus did the what did they do? Seasons mod for Farm Sim 17, And again, in Farm Sim 19, I used to play with seasons because I like the more regimented planting schedule, harvesting schedule, etc. So you plant soybeans in April, ooh, crud, and you go harvest them in October, I think. And it just makes the year a little bit more interesting. You're not, oh, I'm planting wheat, I'm planting something else, I'm planting something else, now I'm going to harvest them all. And it's like every few episodes you are turning your fields over. Now the thing with Farm Sim is the fastest way to make money is to grow crops. And seasons actually slows that down a little. Makes it more of a planned thing. So from when we did our last harvest, which was in November, we now have to live on the money we made in from selling our crops at that time until we get to the next harvest in August. So you have it makes it a little bit more not thought provoking, but you have to plan what you're doing. You can't just say, hey, I'll just go out and harvest a field and I'll have money. No, I have to wait till the crop's ready. It's going to take a while, and then I have to fertilize the crops. I'm going to need some money to buy some fertilizer, because otherwise, don't stop doing that. Oh dear. There we go. Keep catching the frame of the skid steer on the wrapper rather than the edge of the bale. I want to try and spear the bale at the top, not the bottom. Which is working. Because part of the problem with the big silage snake is that it's very easy to mess it up by not unloading the bale well. So now the next thing we have to do, we have to wait until May until this silage is fermented. Oops. That didn't work. Let's try starting that again. And the cow robot feeder doesn't like grass silage, so we have to use whole crop silage. And that we can only get when we harvest a cereal crop. So wheat, barley or oats, and it has to be foraged in order to make whole crop silage, which can then be fed to the cow farm, the cow robot. We're also using Maize Plus, which makes the feed that we need to give the animals a little bit more comprehensive and voluminous than base game. Our cows eat about 10 times as much feed as a normal base game cow. They also produce 10 times as much milk when they're into producing milk, which unfortunately they're not right now. And 950. This is still seeding, that's good. Seven more, 8 more bales, including this one. That's good. suppose let's have a review of prices. That one. No, condition grass silage. Grass silage. 157 showed price fluctuation. So the best price is 170 January, February. And we are plummeting down to 140. One of the reasons we hold on to the grass silage for so long during the year, because it's just not as valuable as it could be, and it is probably our most valuable crop on the farm, all things considered. Now I do, if I'm contracting, I will sell the silage straight off the field, because contract silage doesn't need to ferment, it just happens magically. So we do the contract, we do sell the excess and get on with our lives. So that does give us a little bit more money for the year. One of the reasons I haven't bought 53 yet is because it's worth about 26,000 as a grass contract, whether it be hay or silage base. If it's a hay contract, I'll just pull the hay out and stick it in the cowshed. If it's not a hay contract, then I will sell the silage for probably another 20,000. We make about 50,000 off that one, all in. But hay is not very valuable, so I tend not to take the time to cart it all the way across the map to make a piddling amount of money. If I'm doing a hay contract down by the animal dealer, I'll sell the hay because it's just quicker to drop the hay off at the animal dealer than it is to bring it back to the farm. But a lot of what I'm doing is dependent on the convenience of travel. So if I have to cart something all the way across the map, it better be a really good deal. The only exception to that is our perishable produce, where I have to sell that once a month. Self-imposed rule. So sometime during the course of April we will be selling our tomatoes and our butter and our bread, because we don't want it going all bad on us before we sell it. Honey, not a problem. Honey is the only food product that does not go bad. So I can keep honey on the farm forever, or when I feel like selling it. And produce in a grain bin, because grain bins are tailored for long-term storage of crop. Okay, down there. And suck it off. There we go. So 2 more. And that's the silage for the month of April. We may get some... no, April, May. So the next grass cut for us will be June. Oh, that's annoying. So the Deutz, which I said was our spraying tractor, is currently in use. So I can't go out and spray the grass. Right away. Might do it a bit later. And stop that. And jump out of that, we will press a button. And I have to think about what button to press. That one? That worked. Nice. The question is, if I fold that up and drive forwards, yes. Can I maneuver this without getting the front wheels off the concrete? I don't think I can. Yeah. This is very, very close. If I turn right now. Oh. Well, I'm getting better at this. Either that or this one is better than the round bale only wrapper. Let's unfold it again. Stick it up against the back and turn it off. Nice. Okay, so that's a fair group of bales. We're going to end up with April, June, August, October. We're going to end up with another 4 stacks of bales, which is one of the reasons why I could kind of use another silage bunker to keep those stored safely. Okay, next thing we're going to need on this is the front pallet forks, so we will switch to those. I'm going to stick this back where I got it from. Oops, that will do fine. Stick in drive, jump out. Okay, so that's all done. No idea where that manure is coming from. Massey Ferguson can go back there when I'm done with it. That's all done. We'll take the John Deere back to the arable farm, which is actually, I think, looking a little bit more closely at it, well, I'll stick it in the shed. Okay, that's done. Let's bounce over to... That needs some fuel. We'll fill that up. I think I've got enough fuel here. Never know. Yeah. And we don't have to pay to refuel from those tanks because they are actually pay to get the fuel delivered and then just fill up because you already paid for it. Okay, you're still doing your thing and rocking and rolling. Okay. What's going on in the contract world? We have a whole ton of fertilizing contracts. I think I know what that means. Okay, that's refueled. I believe it also needs sorry, that's serviced, also needs to be refueled. This is not going to be the most economical way of doing things, but I do have a gas tank at the other farm, so that's kind of part of the problem here, is having gas available. Whoa, we have 59 litres left here. Gonna need to buy some more. I think we're okay for now. Right, I am going to take this out to the field and it can finish off the seeding. Whoa, hello, Citron 2CV. I'm not sure how much fertilizer we've got available. I think we've got a good amount. But this is not a tractor really set up for crop spraying. Also, soybeans not a thing that needs nitrogen in farm sim. Apparently in the real world it makes nitrogen, so hey, that's kind of a good thing. Not you, you. Turn off the worker. Whoa. Oh, because I had the steering wheel turned. Drop off that. But we will need to come back with some herbicide for that field. All right. So that's all set up. Let's jump back in the John Deere. Hitch that there. I'm going to back up a little. There you go. Lower that. And set off the worker. We can take this tractor off to use for useful paying work.